We're live. Hello, everyone out there in the wonderful land of Twitch. It's been a while since we've been on. This is John with Rook and Rasp, and we are bringing you kind of a special for our Seriously Let's Play series. We are bringing in Cosmic Corsairs from Nerdburger Games, which is coming to Kickstarter here very soon. And we actually have Craig leading the table today as our GM. So thank you so much for joining us, Craig. And hey, passing it off to you then.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I'm Craig Campbell. I'm the Nerdburger Games guy, and because I keep making games and just have nothing better to do with my free time, we're here playing Cosmic Corsairs, which is brand new. It's been in development for a while, and as John said, it's going to kickstart as of October 7th. So depending on when you're listening to this, you might want to check that out. You'll be able to find it easily enough, I'm sure. You just have to reverse the letters that that Kaylee has up there.
Wait, is it backwards? Because on my screen it was backwards, so I reversed it.
It's backwards to me, at least. I don't know.
Thankfully, it's not on screen for the stream. So. The title is not. It's too high.
Don't worry about it. Anyway, Cosmic Corsairs is the name of the game. All of you who are here with me today are going to be playing cosmically empowered space pirates, taking on the Triarchy, which is sort of the dark regime that runs most of the solar system, known as Aether space. And this is a world, or a solar system where there's an aether, there's an atmosphere in space. So the ships that fly through aether space are much more like sailing ships, although science fiction-y stylized versions of sailing ships. So you can stand outside on the deck. The gravity plane holds you on, and it's more like a ship, sailing ship in space kind of thing, as opposed to being stuck inside of a tin can. And doing everything completely enclosed. So that's just a little bit about that. We'll learn more about the world as we go. And I think what we can do to start with is kind of introduce our characters around here, and you can each let us know a little bit about who you're playing, what sort of species they are, because we have 4 very distinct, unique species, all from different worlds, and tell us a little bit about the character. Whatever you feel is appropriate to share just off the bat. And I'm sure we'll learn more as we go. So let's start with John.
Ooh, starting off with me. So I am playing a character known as Aristino, and Aristino is a Skrell. So a mixture between avian features and reptile features. Imagine, if you will, still humanoid-esque as far as like appearance goes, for clothing or whatever else, but an elongated neck, feathers in kind of a turquoise tapestry, looking like long hair going down the back, wearing extremely nice clothing, and kind of carrying themselves a little bit proudly. But known for being very outgoing and everything else, and actually does have wings that he usually keeps under a cape. Yes, he's going to wear a cape. It's space. I can get away with it. And so kind of a very diplomatic character, but not afraid to get in people's faces.
Right. How about Kaylee?
Well, as mentioned, I'm Kaylee. I am playing Shirlelana, who is a Vesh planetar. The Vesh are a amorphous blob-type creature, as you can see here behind me. That is Shirl. Green tentacles, big bright blue eyes. She is the ship's medic, and really doesn't have social skills to speak of. So, a little blunt spoken, a little blunt force trauma, all these things. It will all work out perfectly well in the wash. Don't worry about it.
Next up is Corey.
All right. I'm playing Lead of Rook, Gartaki. Gartaki are kind of if you're looking for a good cultural touchstone, think Space Orc meets Klingon. It's kind of the vibe I get from their description in the book. Lita is kind of gray-skinned, dark-haired, brooding. She and Cheryl have a lot in common in the fact that she also has zero charm whatsoever. She's usually just in the background, probably behind Aristino, looking intimidating, if nothing else. Not that she can intimidate if she actually has to try. But she's bristling with weapons and just that kind of, I'm probably going to stab you from the shadows attitude.
And finally, Ren.
Okay, so I'm going to be playing Ryla. She is an Orin, so her body is covered in a soft, like lavender-colored fur. Her hair is curly and bright blue. She's got bright green eyes, almost Muppet-esque in color and appearance, but very humanoid features because of her race. Typically dressed in a pair of tan overalls with all the pockets on the sides. Sometimes a little dirty because she is the ship's mechanic. Just bubbly, wants to help, but super curious. Probably going to get herself in trouble at some point. Yeah.
And we had one person mention that they're playing, I believe you said, Kaylee, a Planetar.
Yes.
So for a note, and we'll get into this a little bit, in the game, all of your characters are cosmics. That is the character type, which basically means that because you spend so much time flying around aether space, your bodies have attuned to the cosmic energies that flow between all the different celestial bodies. And each of you has a predilection, what in the game is referred to as an affinity for a particular type of celestial body, whether it be the stars or planets or moons or planetoids or comets or the space between everything itself. And that flavors your characters as far as the abilities you have access to. There are certain things that only bolts can do. There are certain, and bolts being the ones that are affiliated with comets. And like, for example, with Kaylee as a planetar affiliated with planets, there are certain things that only planetars can do. So nobody's, there are general abilities that you might share, potentially depending on how you built your characters, but there's certainly very specific things that your character type only can do. So hopefully we'll get a chance to show off a little bit of your unique flavor for each of your characters. The assumption that we're running on here for the purposes of this game is I had everybody make 4th level characters so that we can show off some things a little bit, give them all a little extra access to capabilities and have built their characters up a little bit beyond just starting level. And the assumption here is that all your characters have been a part of the resistance for some time. You got into fighting back against the authority of the Triarchy for your own reasons. It may have involved others in your group, and you fell together kind of in the process of all of that. You might have all come from different backgrounds, and you've fallen together since. And we can explore that if it makes sense in the course of the story. But the point is that you are a functioning crew. The 4 of you have a starship called
Princess of Pride. No one's. Since I've got the ship sheet in front of me, it's the Princess of Pride, which is a nice little heavy cruiser type ship. I don't know if I can share or we can share the image that was brought up in background discussion, but it's a decent sized ship. It's got some weapons. We've seen a scrape or two, probably.
So
it can hold its own.
As I say, side note, that's actually a 3D printed model of my Super Destroyer in Helldivers 2 that I happened to use the same name for. So it just was like, oh, look, I have a predilection.
There you go.
So the group of you are out flying the aether, doing what you can to put an end to some of the oppression that the Triarchy is laying upon the 10 worlds of aether space, doing what you can to help raise up communities and help build the resistance by finding communities that are willing to fight and willing to join in the struggle. In the process, you've got ways of communicating with other cells within the Triarchy, and you receive a message where you are informed that there is a technician calling themselves Stitch has apparently developed a way to piggyback communication messages onto cosmic energy, that cosmic energy that flows throughout aether space, which would, if this is true, allow near instantaneous communication throughout the solar system. The Triarchy are certainly interested in something like that, and probably keeping control of it for themselves. And then there's a corporation also that is in bed with the Triarchy to an extent, but also has a fair amount of freedom because of the arrangement that they have with the Triarchy, called Versatech, and they are believed to be on the hunt for this technology as well. Your resistance contact suspects that Stitch is hiding on Dalfor Station, which sits on a large asteroid in the asteroid belt that lies between the fourth and fifth planet in the solar system. The asteroid, Dalfor Station, sits on this asteroid, and it is known to be filled with borinium deposits, and this mildly radioactive metal is very useful to a number of sectors of manufacturing, but it also is known to scramble communication signals coming into or leaving the area where these large deposits are. So Dalfor Station is essentially an island outside of communication. So you can't contact it without actually going down there and talking to someone. The station itself, from just this tiny bit of research amongst your databases, is home to, of course, the miners, the mining community, and also several other communities of refugees and perhaps you might call them ne'er-do-wells, people who kind of come and go there and who work to stay kind of outside the Triarchy's purview. But also, like I said, refugees, people that are, literally on the run, trying to avoid any Triarchy involvement. And you're being asked by the Resistance to go to Dalfor Station, investigate this, see if you can find this Stitch, if they exist, and bring them and the technology, if it also exists, to the Resistance. It would provide an incredibly useful resource for coordinating resistance cells all around the system. One of the largest hurdles that the resistance deals with is not being able to communicate easily and quickly with cells all around the system. So that the idea of any sort of coordinated attack is very difficult. The only way you can do it is by timing it. And if something goes wrong suddenly, how do you call something off when you can't communicate immediately? So that's where you are, and Dalfor Station is in the distance as you approach the belt.
So, pretty sure that Lita's up in the mast and rigging somewhere, just in the crow's nest, whatever it is, keeping watch for anything that doesn't look quite right. She is skilled in perception, so what everybody else is doing, she only slightly cares, because she's trying to keep them safe. But right now, nothing's on the horizon as far as she knows. That could change at any moment.
I think the camera kind of cuts over to the med bay, where Cheryl is literally sitting there having an argument with a med doc, which is basically a robot doctor, about some sort of arcane technological and like medical jargon. It's more like background noise at this point, but then the camera just kind of passes on to the next member of the crew.
Ryla's kind of running around the engine room, making sure everything's ready for landing.
And I imagine Aristino is very much standing out on the bow or near the bow of the ship. He has a tiny cup of caffeinated beverage on a saucer, and it's just standing out there looking at as this space, or as the station gets closer, is just standing out there drinking and looking and hoping somebody's watching, so it's not all going to waste.
How about we say the wheel of the ship? Because again, sailing
Oh.
ship in space, the wheel is on the deck, and there's no reason that it has to be back on the aft. It can be on the foredeck. So let's say Aristino is manning the wheel, bringing the ship closer to the station. So for John and Corey, let's get a mind and perception check from each of you. The system uses D10 dice pools, and each of the characters has 4 traits: body, mind, heart. Body, mind, charm, and heart. Let's kind of keep them in the order on the character sheet. And they're pretty straightforward what each of those is. Heart kind of covers your character's inner strength, their courage, resilience, and their empathy, and also kind of their connection to the cosmic forces around them. It's a very internal thing, whereas mind, body, and charm are all kind of what you would expect them to be from a role-playing game. And then you have a series of skills, and in this case, the perception skills. So you would roll a number of d10s equal to your mind trait, plus 1 more if you have the perception skill. Skill basically gives you, in what's referred to in the game as advantage, which gives you an additional die. You can have advantage and disadvantage both. They cancel each other out. If you have double advantage or double disadvantage, there's special stuff that happens. So please let me know if that ever happens. If you have advantage from 2 sources, for example, keeping in mind that skills are advantage.
Nice.
So, quick question for Aristino. Are you skilled in the perception trait?
Oh goodness,
Or
no.
do you have the skill of perception?
Oh no.
Would you like to be? Because I have a special channeling as a Lunar, again playing into that affinity thing, that I can share my skills with people for a scene. I just have to spend a single spirit.
All right. That in itself will bring up a thing. Well, it's spending spirit to get it. How often does spirit refresh?
Spirit works like this. Based on the trait checks that you make, and we'll talk about the results when we get some rolls. There's a possibility that you'll regain spirit just from making trait checks.
Nice.
You also each have 3 anchors that you chose for your character, which are basically adjectives describing your character. And you can gain a spirit from playing your character during a scene, kind of appropriately to one of those anchors. You can only gain spirit 1 time from each anchor during a game session, but they are it's a way to gain spirit that doesn't rely on the randomness of dice.
Nice. All right. I will.
Spirit will go up and down quite a bit.
I'll definitely take it then and get an extra
All right.
dice to roll.
And speaking to what Corey said there, as a Lunar, Corey's character is aligned with moons, and so a lot of your abilities pair with others. Like a moon is always orbiting something or someone. And you also referred to it as a channeling. That's the name of the power. Cosmics use
Hang on.
channels.
Does that make Lita a Sailor Moon?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
All right.
Wah,
All right. So
Blade.
Aristino will definitely be like, yeah, of course. If it can help me see a little bit better, why not? And so I rolled 2 dice then, and I got an 8 and a 7.
All right. So my highest die roll was a 5 with a 1 and a 3 in support of that, because I can roll 3 for being skilled in perception.
So
I
our
don't know.
lookout doesn't see anything of particular interest, other than it's Delphor Station. There's a number of starships that are kind of docked in. Since there's no ocean that you're landing in, the ships come in and they dock on raised platforms so that the bottom of the ship can kind of hang below, and they can be moored in with like little force field moorings, like instead of throwing ropes at the dock, you've got like these little force field ropes that you generate, or you can have a physical clamp, like a thing that'll grab on. depending on the starship. And John, you see that of note is not right at the Dalfor station, but up above near one of the other nearby asteroids. There is what is very clearly a small, but still a triarchy ship that's floating freely near the asteroid. Triarchy ships have a look of, and it's unfortunate that we don't get to show off some more of the artwork that's available that the players have all seen here. But the Triarchy ships, they look a lot like battleships of like the modern day, of like World War II era battleships, like big, long, low, kind of pointed at both ends. And so this is not like a full-on warship, but it's still a Triarchy ship that's quietly resting. As you roll and zoom down into, you got, just for the record, let's cover this. On your trait check, you, based on how you roll, if you got zero successes, that you fail the check, I may introduce a complication. But you mark on your re-roll track. And the reroll track is 10 checkboxes. When you fill that reroll track, you clear it to gain the use of a reroll that you can use for any trait check. If you score exactly one success, which John you did, you gain, you succeed. That's what you saw and learned, and you mark a spirit on the spirit track, so you gain a spirit. If you had succeeded with 2 or more successes on the dice, you would have succeeded at what you were doing to find something interesting, notice something interesting, but then with a boon, which is like extra, like you did really well at that thing, and you would mark one on the Nova track. And if you fill up the Nova track, you clear it to gain the use of a Nova, and your Novas are your most powerful channelings. They are They need to be earned over the course of time. The channelings, you'll note, like a lot of times, you can kind of use channelings all day long as you've got the right circumstances for them. If this channeling requires spirit, of course, you need to spend the spirit, but you can use channelings quite a bit. Novas, on the other hand, are much more limited. You have to kind of build up to being able to use them. And we discussed everybody starting with some Novas and rerolls.
Yes.
Already earned, so you're coming in with some of them. And I told you all about where to put your tracks to start with for this little one shot. So that's where you're at, and you can fly on down to the station easily enough. Unless you want to do something else before you cut yourself off from the outside world, because communication with the resistance will be null while you're there.
I just will call out, I have a comm link, and I'll be just inform everyone, hey, just want to make sure everybody's aware, we do have a Triarchy ship here. Nope.
Nods. Understood.
Who is it? A big one?
Oh, no, I don't, not that big. So.
Oh, that's almost disappointing. I haven't seen a big one in a while.
I can change it.
It's just...
You realize it's not the size of the starship that is the problem. It is the people on board. Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
The people on
attempting
board
to
too.
watch my language today because everybody complained about it and said something at dinner last night.
Well, comms were open,
It's not my fault that the comms were open. If you didn't want them to hear that, then they shouldn't have been on the ship. That's all I have to say about that.
Fair. Well, let's moor in and get exploring.
As you chat and across your comm links, as each of you are in different parts of the ship, you start getting static over your communication links, and eventually they cut off completely, and you realize, well, you can't even talk to each other remotely. in the presence of the beryllium.
So,
What sort of reasoning do you have in place? Let's throw this to the group. This could have been just something you discussed before you got there as well. Do you have a reasoning in place, an excuse for why are you here? What are you coming to the station for? Or do you want to explain it in the moment when you get down there? That you can do that too.
Ooh, that's not a bad point.
You have a curious mechanic on board that might be looking for some beryllium to experiment with too.
I like that.
So you're looking to buy a little under the table,
Why
black
not?
market action. In a solar system controlled largely by the triarchy and where commerce is monitored, black markets are everywhere. They often don't last terribly long, but there's always a new one that pops up in the place of one that is scattered to the winds when the triarchy comes in and picks up dirt, causes problems. So you fly on down, moor yourself, clear yourself with the dockmaster. Everything's fine. They don't seem to be too concerned. They see a lot, especially with stations like this, kind of in the outlying regions. They see a lot of people come and go, and unless they're on some sort of lockdown or there's some sort of emergency or concern there, they're usually pretty open to people coming and going, as long as it's like not somebody that's clearly like on the most wanted list, which you all are not as of yet. We'll see how this one goes. In game, for those interested, there is there's a mechanic that the GM tracks called Threat, which actually keeps track of how much of a threat the triarchy considers you all to be. And as that grows, they start taking more and more concrete action against you.
I'm actually going to be kind of insulted if Lita at least is not like a pip on there.
At least
Maybe
not
not
a little bit marked on the threat track.
She's unintentionally a troublemaker, mainly because between her channelings, where she can just summon a blade and like a little tiny dart at will, she also carries a greatsword, a las rifle, and a las pistol. Like I said, she bristles with weapons, and not everybody appreciates that. She appreciates that, but not everybody else does.
As you begin to make your way around the station, assuming that everybody kind of gathers together at this point,
Yeah.
you catch just whispers here and there, people talking, people chatting. They're not, they don't seem to be like pointing at you or saying anything, but there's certainly a fair amount of hubbub that's passing around amongst people. Stations on the fringes can have like their own gossip ecosystems that kind of get going, and they build and ebb and flow over time based on activities that are taking place in this little kind of community that's kind of on the edge of everything. And all of you can give me a mind and perception check to see what you might overhear, or you can choose to go and engage somebody directly, and we can make a charm check for you if you'd like.
Ooh.
Which is more of a social.
I think I'm going to talk to somebody directly, but I'll let y'all go ahead and roll first.
I'm going to start with perception, and then if we are in that much trouble, I'll try talking to somebody.
Feel free. Anybody who wants to go, you can go first. Whoever wants to go is ready to make a roll. Tell me what you want to do.
Lita is using her perception because that is kind of her skill. She has 0 charm. Well, she has 1, but that's not useful. In this case, she got an 8, a 10, and a 4 for her successes, or for her rolls.
Okay. You pick up that that's a 2+ hits. The 8 and the 10 are both successes, so that's marked on your Nova track. And you learn that yes, indeed, there is a Triarchy presence here. People are talking about Triarchy soldiers who are not just here to make their presence known, or to come in and just flex their muscles a little bit, because the Triarchy are well known to do that on these fringe stations just every so often, just to remind them, hey, we don't have people stationed here, but we're not ignoring you. We're keeping an eye out. But they are also, and this is the little extra boon that you catch, that they have been looking for a Skrell named Relinsala, or goes by Relin. And the word amongst sort of the gossip mill of people talking about Relin is that Relin claims to be from the future.
Okay.
Anybody else with a check?
Yeah. Ren or Kaylee?
I got 1 success on a perception.
What did you roll?
I rolled perception plus mind. I got 1 8. The rest were all 3s and 2s.
Sure. Okay, so that's 1 mark of spirit. You pick up that there's a that the Triarchy have been harassing a group of Krivid who have a community here. Specifically, it's a group of what Krivid, an offshoot of a group of Krivid called the Unburdened. For those, we haven't touched on the Krivid species here. The Krivid are, in actuality, individually, they are slug creatures. They're like 2 feet or so long. They tend to be blues and greens and purples in color, but they bond in groups and form like a colony that attaches to one another and forms up into this more or less bipedal form. They telepathically communicate with one another, and they make this bonded entity. And so in the game, that is a playable species. It's just that the 4 of you, nobody chose to play a Krivid. But amongst the Krivid generally form these colony creatures. They bond together in groups. There's a group of Krivid who believe that that is an unnatural state of being, and they call themselves the Unburdened, and they remain individuals and do not bond in groups, or at least they don't bond in groups long term. All of you know that there is currently a process underway with the Krivid on the Krivid homeworld. The Krivid are one of the 3 species that have very, very strong ties to the Triarchy. Some of the bigger factions that form the Triarchy are Krivid. And that these Krivid factions in the Triarchy are attempting to enforce requirement that you must bond, that Unburdened past a certain age are degenerate. They are not following the true form of what Krivid should be, and they are it's not out. They're not outlawed and hunted or anything like that yet. There's a great deal of prejudice against Krivid who don't bond.
All right.
And there are Triarchy that have been looking for some of these Krivid. Anybody else with a check?
I did. I have the perception skills, so I rolled an 8, 5, and a 3.
8, 5, and a 3. 1 success will get you mark spirit. You pick up that there's an Orin named Wallach who is people think that an equal number, some of the people that you overheard talking, they're having an argument about Wallach says that they have like an AI module they're trying to sell, and some of the people that were having this argument that you overheard think that Wallach stole this AI module, and some think that Wallach created this AI module. So and given the current day and what AI means to all of us as actual people in the world, we're talking actual AI, like sapient computer program that understands that, that has goals and intention and the truly dangerous kind of AI.
Skynet.
All right.
And Don, did you?
I'm going to just walk up to somebody and try and be charming. And
Okay.
so just sees a group of people and kind of slithers as much as a humanoid body can, but slithers on up and kind of says, "Oh, so what all's happening?" Just trying to be as diplomatic and get in their good graces as possible. But so I got
give me a it's going to be a charm with either like deception or diplomacy, depending on kind of how you're approaching your discussion.
I was going to go with diplomacy, and so I have rolled 6, 3, 4, 9, and a 10.
Holy crap! You got a lot of dice there.
Yeah, my little charisma charm person starts off with 4 in charm, and then I've got deception and diplomacy.
Sure. So you have that's 2 successes. So you pick up very, very quickly here. This group of people, they're not walking around dressed alike or like chanting anything. But after talking with them for a few moments, you get the impression that they're definitely part of either a communal in the best light, a communal organization with some like-minded principles, or a cult. And you start talking to them about kind of what's going on the station and so forth, and they suggest that you speak with Lorla Den. She sees all.
Lorla Den. Okay.
Not ominous at all.
All right. I look at the rest of the group. I'm just like, oh. So it looks like we got a couple different directions to go here. What do you want to start with?
Do any of these rumors kind of hint at like maybe being a cover or the actual identity of the person that we're finding named Stitch? That the one with the AI might actually be my way of thinking, but there's
To
also
just recap, you can all discuss it by all means. So yeah, Wallach is an Orin who has an AI that they either stole or created themselves, and that certainly speaks to the possibility of like some really advanced technology. Relin the Skrell is from the future, according to him. Lorla Den sees all, whatever that means, and then there's the unbonded, the unburdened, as they call themselves, that the Triarchy are showing particular interest in, and that's the only one that you've picked up that has like definite Triarchy involvement.
I kind of lean towards either going and investigating the AI or the unbonded.
I mean, if we are looking for understanding the reason we are here, it could be an AI, might be, or someone with an AI, might be a worthy ally in the eventual quest, the sort of destination we are seeking, if you understand what I am saying.
Oh yeah, like totally. Like AI like that. I mean, that could be really interesting to play with. It could be really dangerous too, which is even cooler.
Well, I mean, yes, but you have to remember that AI is still it's a sentient being, of course. To play with it, unless of course it's into that sort of thing, then you let it go.
Well, that and there's with the unbonded. I'm certain they're looking for any allies they can get. I mean,
That too.
even if they're not connected to this, this technology, they might be able to get us in contact with those who are, or find another ally for the resistance.
At the very least, we can cause some trouble. I'm always up for that. Help them out.
Well, until we know where the device is, I recommend no fisticuffs unless they start it first.
I never start anything.
Of course.
Straight faced. Player cannot keep me straight faced saying that, but Lita is just like straight faced.
This is the point where all the characters just like look right into the camera and kind of do.
Hey, I only start stuff when it's funny.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm talking about fisticuffs. Comedy
Yeah.
is,
Sometimes fights are funny too.
Christina, if you wish a detailed breakdown of who has started the most fistfights on the ship, I have that in the database records, and I believe that, well, Lita probably has a definite edge there.
Which is part of what makes them so funny.
All right. So,
Like seriously, have you ever watched her pick a fight? It's great.
No, I'm usually picking up after she picks a fight.
Surely you know me so well.
I know you've quite a bit, but please don't call me Shirley.
I didn't make that jump myself. Being the age that I am, all I heard was Shirl. It's how the nickname that you go by, which of course puts me in Laverne and Shirley because that's what Squiggy always called her.
I figured that would be too niche, honestly. So
No.
I wasn't going to play for that. So
70s and 80s sitcoms, totally my wheelhouse.
I'm
Hello,
a sucker
Cheryl.
for trouble.
So where do you think, everybody?
it
There's no
sounds to
wrong
me.
choice, just
It
so
sounds
you're
to me like this Lola Den person who sees all is either some sort of mystic or charlatan. But if they are mystic and are tied into the cosmic forces, they might be able to give us a lead on some of the other points.
that's
Right.
another thing to consider. Yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a good plan. And Aristino just nods and starts walking. It's like,
Does Aristino know where he's going?
he actually stops, turns around, and points in a few different directions. Calls back to that group. Where do I need to go looking?
you can a little checking directories and talking to some of the folks around here. This isn't like a high security kind of station. You can kind of figure out like where a lot of everything and everyone is. Although you're not being directed specifically to where the Crivid are. That seems to be kind of hush hush.
It's that way.
But Laura Den and her commune, I guess, until we know different, are located out at one arm. There's the station itself has kind of a central core of control, and there's like a promenade, kind of where there's shops and where you can get food and and so forth. And then there's also, you can rent sleeping pods, living pods, kind of in this central area. And then the station itself then branches out several arms that kind of take you to different parts, in different directions on the asteroid. One in particular is kind of heavy as the miners, and it's the larger one. It's got the most, it's the most populous as far as like having all the miners there. And then they go out from that area out into the asteroid itself for the mining operations. And then some of the other arms are where some of these other groups are staying, and you're directed down one of the shorter arms on the station to where Lorla Den's commune is located. As you get closer to it, you hear music, sort of an ethereal and very haunting tune, being played by some sort of wind instrument, kind of like a very breathy wind instrument, like a flute. But the really interesting thing is about the music is that the notes are continuous. They just kind of go from note to note to note to note, and you realize at some point that like there's no breath. Like nobody's like when you play an instrument like that, at some point you have to breathe, and then there's a break in the music where this just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. As it gets louder and louder, you eventually come to a group of people who are in just kind of an open commons area. There's tables and chairs here. There's a few people who are seated and having something to eat or drink. Others are gathered in small clusters, and they're all talking very excitedly about something. After you just a brief listen, they are talking about it's just about time for Lorla to come and dress the group with her latest secrets and advice. And you start to get the feeling that this is a group of people who are lost, a group of people who feel that they have lost their way. They don't know what they're doing with their lives. They're looking for guidance, for leadership, and they have latched onto this group as both a community and also a way to find that sort of direction for their lives. One or two of you may have gone through a period like that in your life. It's not uncommon, certainly, especially in a solar system that where people find themselves robbed of certain opportunities because of the triarchy and how they treat different communities.
Do they seem guarded at all? I mean, they're just talking about this out in the open.
They seem very open. That's the thing that strikes you as not a cult. You would expect a lot of hush hush secrecy, and like if you were going to kind of get audience or be able to be around the leader, it would be under very specific circumstances. It would be like you'd have to prove that you're not a threat and so forth. Whereas here, they're it's almost more like a church, like a proper church of like just people coming in and they're going to have this discussion with Lorla.
I kind of walk over, nod to the rest of the group before I do, but I'm just like, I walk over them. I'm just like, what can you actually tell me about this Lorla Dune?
Oh, Lorla is wonderful. Lorla is helping me find my way after I've experienced a great many hardships. I've had to leave my home. You're speaking to an Orin. I had to leave Orana, and I've been wandering the Aether. I'm not even sure how long anymore. It's been many weeks. But I came here looking for work. I thought perhaps I could mine. I'm apparently not terribly well suited to that, and indeed this Orin doesn't look to be terribly physically fit. Looks like mining work would probably be very difficult for them, even with equipment that helps. And they say, but I've discovered Lorla and this fine group, and she has put my mind at ease and helped me to see more clearly and to find my way. I feel I may not need to remain much longer. I may be ready to go again. I may be ready to strike out and find what the future has to hold for me. And they suddenly, like, it was all very stoic and very kind of matter of fact, although kind of strangely inspiring. But then in those last few sentences, like there's genuine hope on their face. They seem to be very. If you want to see if that's an act, any of you can make a mind and insight check.
I'll let somebody else take that role. My character I have one in mind, and so I'm very much I'll take it at face value what they're saying.
I'm skeptical with an 8741.
And Lita has a single 8 for that insight. She does not have the skill.
Target number was a 7,
4.
so apply the number of successes you got there, I guess. Kaylee, you've got 2. So Corey, seems that they're on the up and up. They truly feel this way. They don't seem to be giving you a load of BS. Haley, it seems that they truly feel this way, but you also get, as a boon here, you get the distinct feeling that what they were saying, while they truly seem to believe it, it seems like something they were taught to repeat. Like they know it by rote. Like
Okay.
they have said those words in that particular order a number of times. Now, whether that was an influence from outside or whether they have created that mantra for themselves, you don't know. But it seems like it's a rehearsed thing. They do believe it.
All right. Question for you on rules. Is learning that kind of the boon for this? Because I got two hits on this.
Right. That was the boon. Was the
extra bit of information.
The initial success was they believe it. It seems like they don't appear to be lying to you, but it also appears that like you're picking up like this is the thing that they've practiced or that has perhaps been drilled into them or
just wanted to understand the mechanic.
Yep.
So cool.
Yeah, with physical stuff it's easy. It's like, oh, you hit the person and you knock them down. But with social stuff it can be a little more vague. But yes, that's the boon.
So Cheryl, like, because she's like facing this conversation, anybody standing behind her sees another like tentacle sprout from her body, and then pulls her data pad out and starts typing in like a group chat message to the rest of everybody, just saying something along. Let's see. This person very much believes the crap that they are spouting, but they are spouting it in a very rehearsed manner. They've said it many times before, possibly have been coached. So please be on the lookout for this.
This kind of looks a little bit like that had not entered their mind. But sorry, someone else was about to say something?
No, keep going. So
Aracino looks at this person and says, but how do they help you? Is it technology, a pill, or do they just talk?
We've had conversations. I've spoken with Lorla one-on-one a number of times. She's helped me to set aside problems that I've had, to come to terms with some of my own shortcomings, but to embrace my strengths, which were too easy to ignore when I was struggling. But also ever since I've been here, my dreams have changed. Before here, I often dreamt of terrible things. I've relived those terrible things that happened to me in my past, and since meeting Lorla, those dreams do not come anymore. My dreams have been peaceful and inspiring.
Very interesting indeed, then. And last question from me. You say you're going to venture back out. You going to just find a ship and hop on it? You going to join up with the Triarchy or something? What are you going to do?
At the mention of the Triarchy, their demeanor changes. That calm, placid exterior that you were seeing kind of shifts into just for a moment of panic, of like flight, kind of kicks in, like they suddenly tense, and then that passes, and they say, I'm not sure, and to be quite honest, I have a feeling that an opportunity will present itself, and when it feels right, that is the opportunity I will take, which is something I could not have imagined doing weeks ago. I wandered aimlessly for a long time.
So, I have a question regarding this specific station, Orlan 5, 4 words. I have a channeling called Moon of a Moon, where it's a cosmic construct. Would the metal that is being mined interfere with that, since I know it also interferes with communication?
No,
Or
the mining will not interfere with to the best of your knowledge. The mining should not interfere with your channelings. It's a scrambling of airborne communication signals and waves, that sort of thing.
And so, and telepathically is not affected by that.
Yeah, the mystical quality of your cosmic being is not affected by that.
Okay. So while Aristino is talking to this particular fellow, Lita's just watching out, but she is also going to kind of step a little back into not quite the shadows, but a little bit more out of just the way of things, and get her little satellite moon out, spinning the spirit that I just got. And this little, just like a little drone-like construct just shimmers into existence. And she's gonna kind of send it out to just listen for anything, if there's anything different, or if it's much the same as this gentleman's words. So,
Looking for deviations in the pattern.
yeah, she's like,
Is everybody talking like this person? We're gonna give him a name, Brill, so that we can actually go with that. Does what people are talking about sound like Brill has been saying, or is there any variation in that? Okay, so you kind of send your little.
Yeah, it can only go 2 zones away, up to 2 zones away from me, but I can share in its senses, essentially.
And
so,
2 zones away will cover this entire kind of common space easily enough. Or people listening, the game doesn't break down ranges into feet or yards or anything like that. It uses zones. You may be familiar with this from some other games. Basically, a zone is an area. It could be relatively small. It could be larger, but generally think of it as a zone is maybe 50 feet on a side, give or take. So while all these characters are all here talking with Brill, they're all kind of in the same zone together. But there might be a cluster of people that's a zone away. They're in this little compartment. So you can take a larger room and break it into multiple zones. You can take a ship deck, break it into a fore, mid, and aft sort of thing. And that also translates into space as well. So like the distance between 2 starships might be 3 zones if they're a bit apart from each other. If they're only 1 zone apart, then they're effectively touching. So you send your construct around and listen in on everything, and you pick up a lot of very similar discussion. Although peppered in there are a few people who are asking a lot of questions and don't have that calm sereneness that Brill and many of the others have. You get the from what they're saying, you pick up that it seems like they're new. They're still trying to figure out what this whole thing is and whether or not it's for them. So there appears to be at least some level of active recruitment that's taking place where people are, they're welcoming new members.
Okay.
Speaking with interested people. And then Lorla arrives and everybody grows very silent. They all look and she walks in and Lorla is an Orin, so she looks more or less human. She has, she's wearing, not robes, but like a simple kind of very it's a blouse and pants, but they're very flowy, and billowy, and her hair is long and kept in a braid, brown hair, long in a braid. She has a kind face. She seems peaceful, at ease. She has the look of someone who is with family, with people that she knows and likes. She's friendly. She greets people by name. And they don't shake hands, but they touch hands. Like she reaches out a hand and a person will just kind of lay their hand, like just touch for a moment and she'll walk by. And so like there's this momentary moment of deference or greeting that's a very kind of out of the ordinary style. Each of you hears in your head, "Welcome, newcomers." She's not speaking. Her lips are not moving. What do you seek from Lorla Den? What do you seek from this place of peace and calm?
We're explorers, and we've come to this area. We're actually investigating, looking for a few things to invest in. And I think, sadly enough, Aristino, while thinking this, is saying this out loud too. So that's just how he would interact in this moment.
Not terribly adept at mental communication, telepathic communication. Makes me think of Brooklyn Nine-Nine when Jake is he's imprisoned and he thinks he's talking only in his head, and he's thinking in his head because he's hopped up on he got drugged and he was hopped up on something, and he's actually saying it out loud and like saying it with his mouth and very loudly. Yeah. So we're looking for business. Just loud. Everybody looks to him. All of you see him saying this and hear him, like hear that voice saying this, but you also hear it in your heads, like you are all telepathically in communication with one another. And all the people, well, not all of them, but at least some of the people are kind of looking as Aristino speaks. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to kind of set the stage.
We're very happy for your group here and what you have going on. We're looking for a few individuals. What were their names? I look over at Cheryl.
Not verbally. Cheryl thinks of the Wallach, the name Wallach.
Upon thinking the name Wallach, a number of the members of the group you pick up, like they're kind of giving you the side eye. Like they recognize the name and they don't care for the name.
Without meaning to, Rayla totally thinks, ooh, drama.
Look, obviously everyone knows the name. This is silly. Say what you mean. I swear, this entire galaxy would be so much cleaner if everybody just said what they meant.
You hear a voice, all of you, saying, Wallach is known to us and is not trusted by many of us.
May I ask why? Why would you? Is he untrustworthy with your cause, or untrustworthy in general?
There are members of our commune here who have had run-ins with Wallach. He speaks with a forked tongue, tells you what you want to hear, and then he robs you.
Well, that's not very friendly.
That makes a lot more sense now. I appreciate the clarity.
You would do well to avoid Wallach.
Well, perhaps, but unfortunately...
One voice pipes in after that, a voice you do not, like a mental voice that you do not recognize, that this is not Lorla or Brill or anybody that you've spoken to, is, and says, Wallach has friends among the Triarchy and is not to be trusted.
I appreciate that insight greatly. Thank you.
Noted. Well, friends among the Triarchy is definitely a no-go for us. I guess then we'll just simply have to be looking for Rellan before we go. And I throw the name out totally casually, and I'm watching to see if anybody reacts.
You get a few people who sort of chuckle, like they physically kind of have a little physical reaction, a little.
Did I say something amusing?
Are we misinformed yet again about whether another person can be trusted?
Ellen Sala, the future walker. And you see literally a couple of people in the crowd roll their eyes.
Well,
Lita just raises an eyebrow.
I feel as if we've intruded upon your gathering, and I'm very sorry for that. Perhaps you can tell us where to find these individuals, and we can leave you to whatever it is you do here.
At this point, you hear, but actually, Lorla motions all of you over, and assuming you all go, she speaks with her mouth, with her voice. Easiest way to find Wallach is to go to the dark market. He's almost certainly to be found there on any given day, robbing someone or plying some con. Ellen, I believe, is harmless, although deluded. Or perhaps just enjoys telling stories. But I do get the feeling there's some truth. What he claims. I don't believe he's from the future, but I believe there's something strange about that one.
I'd see something we can't.
I appreciate this insight. With this Wallach, is there a mark by which we might know them if we see them?
And she describes Rellan's barb, and what he looks like. Relin is a Skrell, so you'll be looking for kind of an orange and burgundy scaled Skrell with very little in the way of feathers, mostly scales and spines along the back, and who strangely, the Skrell, as a people, tend to dress. I mean, they can dress, you know, in more rudimentary fashion when it's necessary if they're doing work and the like. But you know, on a day-to-day basis, the Skrell prefer rather ornate clothing. They have a great deal of fashion sense. They like patterns and tracery and so forth in their clothing. They tend to wear clothing that's, you know, might sometimes be considered a little much, like a little you know, long coats and kind of flouncy sleeves and a little something that seems that would, you know, typically, and it, you know, it seems out of place even just at, like, you know, a mining colony. Like they're going to be walking around in something that's a little more fancier. Whereas she describes Relin as wearing very utilitarian clothing. He does not wear a great deal of decoration. So in that regard, as a Skrell, he's actually sort of easy to pick out because it's not typical for Skrell. Unless they're doing, you know, hard physical labor or something. But they need to stick with something that's not, they don't wear clothing that's going to get damaged.
Well, we appreciate the insight. Thank you so much. I'd like the rest of the group to see if anyone else had any questions.
I mean, Lita does, but does not think it would be the wisest to ask them directly just yet. She does not want to cause trouble.
You could, if you want, attempt to ask a question. You're talking to Lorla?
Mm-hmm.
You could attempt to ask, to communicate with Lorla directly, telepathically, and exclude everyone else from hearing so that it would just be you and Lorla talking. But that will require a heart check.
What? I kind of want to do that just because it could be entertaining. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I have some reroll just in case, but I might not use it. Again, that's just 2d10 for her because she has no skills in this, unless creature lore comes into play somehow, which I don't think it would. The question...
Now, diplomacy or deception, depending on your hack. You know, like if you're being straightforward, it's diplomacy. If you're kind of lying your way around, it's deception.
So, actually, here's a question. How do you determine the scene break for the share skills? Because it is a two-way thing. I could technically, if this is considered the same scene, borrow Aristino's diplomacy.
This is not the same scene as when you were arriving.
Okay, so I don't have that currently.
This whole discussion in here has been a scene. When you leave here, it will be the end of the scene.
Okay.
If a fight were to break out, that would be a new scene.
Okay. So fairly standard storytelling beats. She has no diplomacy. I'm not going to bother borrowing spirit because that would require a little bit of question. The question simply for Lorla.
You can, for the record, for all of you too, and for everyone listening, you can spend a spirit to gain a die on a trait check. So even outside of gaining a die for advantage, which includes skills, you can simply spend a die to, you know, or spend a spirit to gain a die as well. So there are a number of ways to kind of give yourself a little boost here and there, even if your skill isn't, you know, your trait score isn't terribly high.
Yeah, so her question before I I am spending the spirit to get that extra die, just because this could be a fun question. Question for Lorla from Lita that hopefully nobody else hears is simply asking how Lorla has managed to build this commune that feels very genuine and yet still very rehearsed. very intriguing.
Okay,
That
well, give
is,
me a heart check.
yeah, 2, 7, and 2, so I don't think that succeeded. Unless it was a 7.
Yeah, with a 7, one success, so mark a spirit. You gain that spirit right back that you just spent.
Mhm.
You ask that question of only Lorla telepathically. And she, rather than responding, your mind is flooded with snippets of dreams that are not yours. But you are seeing some of the people around you. Like just little quick vignettes, little moments of dreams that they've had, and they're all uplifting, wonderful. Like they're those wonderful dreams where you're doing something that you love to do, or you're flying, or you're doing something that makes you happy, as opposed to having like a weird dream where everything's confusing, or a nightmare where things are frightening. And as you see those snippets kind of floating through your head, you realize that your mind now is also like you see one of your more recent dreams. Um, uh, and you get the distinct impression that now Lorla has seen that dream of yours, or at least what you recall of it. Not everybody recalls all the details of their dreams. And you hear a voice then that says, these shared experiences tend to breed sameness in thought and belief and intention. It is a side effect of helping people find their way.
Okay. Like, on the outside, for everybody else watching, Lita shows nothing. One of her anchors is feels everything, shows nothing. But if Lorla is paying attention to the internal dialogue, Lita's not freaked out, but she's very, like, she nods. She's not confused, but she's also like, it's a powerful thing. There's a little bit of admiration in there from Lita. No expression whatsoever on her face. She's very stone-faced to the rest of the people, unless they're really, really adept at reading her. But she's like, a powerful kind of experience in that.
And as that experience of kind of sharing glimpses of other people's dreams and knowing that one of your dreams has now been seen by at least Lorla, you get the distinct impression that there are other people on this station who are not in this room who have this communal mind as well, this shared dream link, and at least one of them wears 3 stripes on their cuff and is a sergeant.
If I get a face with that mark.
Don't. You see the rank. You see, as if looking through their eyes in a dream, you're looking down at your hands holding a weapon, and you see cuffs, which is the 3 stripes of a sergeant on their cuff, that being a triarchy, army soldier.
That is intriguing. She is going to verbally thank Lorla and kind of pull back if she can, and then do a polite little bow before leading or following. I don't know if they started walking off or not, but she's going to follow her crew. And then when she is out of audible range, then she'll like just straight face mention what she saw to everyone quietly, but she'll mention it. That cuff, but somebody linked to Orla is has at least ties to Triarchy or ambitions of Triarchy.
Or had.
So, or had.
Well,
It's hard to say.
that's one to put a pin in for another time. We need to find a
Might be here
dark
for a while.
market, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Alec is in the dark market, and Roland is just somewhere. We might run into him. Doesn't sound like he'd be hard to spot.
Yes, I agree with that sentiment.
There's a very semi-pointed look at Aristino at hard to spot. Aristino is also Skrell and very Porty Skrell, not flamboyantly dressed, but compared to Lita, who is just like plain black canvas and leather, very flamboyantly dressed.
Oh no, Aristino is very flamboyantly dressed, but at the same time, I mean, he's wearing a cape. Come on. But even the tone of his feathers and everything else is that iridescent turquoise kind of look to it. It is very much a hey, look at me kind of
Got a
overall
very
look.
peacock. Got a very peacock thing going there.
But even then, once we get away from the group, Aristino is like, well, think it's been enough of this for a bit. And I'm going to use Color of the Skin, one of my channelings.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to change, and where I was turquoise before, I'm now a mixture of orange and red and yellow hues. So shifting dramatically. So
Okay. Anybody who, and I'll leave it to you, we don't have to necessarily sit here and have a discussion about it, but in that scene, if you played your character appropriate to one of your anchors, feel free to give yourself a spirit. Everybody had some moments in there, and I have a feeling that given that nobody has gained spirit from anchors just yet, you probably all, most if not all of you, hit on something from your anchors. Remember, you can only gain spirit one time from each anchor, but it does allow you to. Because when I was designing the game, this is an earlier, back in, like, this system has been used for previous games as well. There was a point where I was like, you know what, you could get totally screwed on spirit if you roll a certain way. Like, suddenly you're never gaining spirit. So that the anchor thing came out as a way to accommodate that.
nice.
And having it be player based rather than the GM awarding spirit, as you know, like, hey, you impressed me, so here's a spirit. Like, you can play your character and make the choice to earn spirit. Off you go, looking now, asking around long enough. You get, a handful of people that don't want to tell you or say, well, I don't know what you're talking about. But eventually you manage to, pin down a person or two here who kind of points you to a storage room that's kind of down at the end of one of the wings of the station, where there is some trading going on that is not necessarily sanctioned by the Triarchy, and the group of you are able to find your way to that.
Okay, so we're like looking for an Orin, right?
Oh,
I think
if
so.
that's of many people we seem to be looking for at this point, but Orin is, yes, Orin named Wallach specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, you could throw a shoe and find an Orin.
Hey, don't throw shoes at me.
I didn't say I was gonna throw a shoe at you. Also, do you see me wearing shoes?
I didn't say you were wearing shoes. I said don't throw shoes at me.
Well, then where would I get a shoe?
I don't know, probably from Aristino. He's got a lot of them.
I was going
Aristina's
to.
got a big old shoe closet on the ship. Big stacks of shoes.
I
Just
was
because
actually
the
going to
shoe
say.
closet is his cape closet.
Well, I
It's a
do.
whole 10-foot by 10-foot module. Nothing but shoes.
Well, that and well, actually, and I pull out
Capes,
from
sorry.
under my cape. I have a large esque duffel bag. I'm like, I could always see if I have one, but yeah, I just shove it back behind under the cloak.
Aristino, throwing a shoe to find something it's an idiom. It's not an actual methodology of finding someone. It's not like, like a dowsing rod for finding somebody. You're just going to piss people off if you throw shoes around.
I mean, that could kind of be hilarious.
I'm
There are
just
things I could throw.
I'm just not going to go there right now. But I think that I could. I think I could. But
You think you could throw a shoe and hit an Orin? That is not Ryla. Ryla's off target for this.
well, you took away my advantage there. But anyway.
Well, if you throw a shoe at Ryla and Ryla gets a concussion, that'll be her 4th one this year, and we will definitely have to have words.
Hey, now, at least 2 of those weren't my fault.
And I didn't throw anything
Not entirely,
either those
anyway.
times. But
Moving on.
how do you find a dark market without a shoe is the question then.
You find your way there. We're not going to belabor making a whole bunch of checks and coming with a password. There's enough of you who have dealt with this sort of thing before. Living on the fringes, it's just kind of second nature. It's something that you do have to look for, unless there's particular crackdowns taking place from the Triarchy, or there's rumors of resistance cells meeting, or dissent that might be rising up, or organizing anything active and open in rebellion or resistance. Black markets tend to get kind of glossed over by the Triarchy, unless there's an obvious problem that's coming out of it. So it's just a matter of kind of finding your way there, and you come to this kind of end of this arm to kind of an empty, abandoned, normally abandoned storage room, and you hear some hubbub, some murmuring from the other side of the door. Opening the door, looking in, you see there's a number of people, all different species, who some of whom have tables or carts, or crates laid out, and they're selling all manner of items. None of your kind of typical everyday stuff that there's not food and that sort of thing, but there's or basic tech. But you see weapons, you see exotic foods and liquors and sort of there's stuff that's harder to come by, or that is made terribly expensive due to Triarchy trade practices, and then you see some people that appear to be not really selling anything in particular. They're back and forth, and they're exchanging stick drives of data. So there's information brokering sort of thing that's going on. That sort of thing happens as well. As you walk in, you see a kind of a diminutive Orin who is standing amidst a group of 4 Triarchy soldiers who are not, busting heads and walking around and getting up in people's faces about anything, but who appear to be actually engaged in trade. Like they're talking to, this Orin, who looks to the group of you as you walk in. One of the Triarchy soldiers looks directly at Leader Rook. Looks you in the eye, has 3 stripes on his sleeve, and that hand, you look at that sleeve, you see those stripes, you see that hand, and you see that hand start to go toward a holster as the group of them start to turn toward you, and we're going to take a short break just before things get really, really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All
We want
right.
to take 5 minutes, and you can all think about where you're going to run. Or, you don't have to run. You can do other things too.
Yep.
Lead us
All
not
right.
gonna run.
Well, we'll go ahead and step away for 5 minutes. I'll get us a splash thrown up, and we'll see y'all back here. So 5 minutes, folks.
5 minutes.
We're back live.
And here we are, as one of the Triarchy soldiers goes to their holster and looks
Craig,
right at Corey's character.
Craig, real quick, while he's going for his holster, Cheryl generates a tentacle and reaches out towards Aristino, and Aristino feels somebody rummaging in the bag under his cape, and all of a sudden the tentacle comes up and lobs a shoe at Oren.
Well,
And thwacks him upside the head with a looks like a high top of some kind.
At who? I'm sorry.
At the Oren.
Oh, at Wallach.
for the complicated
okay.
moment of finding the Orin, there you go.
Let's see if Wallach. Let's see if Wallach dodges. Wallach does not dodge. Wallach gets hit in the face with a shoe. And we're going to go into an action sequence, specifically in this case, a combat. Basically the way combat typically works is one side or the other is going to kind of initiate the combat. In this case, it was the Triarchy by starting to draw weapons who are going to go first. So I'm going to be able to go for some or all of my adversaries here for you all, and then during the course of the of a round, we do it's popcorn initiative, essentially, if people know what that means. Basically, when you take your turn, when your turn is done, you will choose who goes next. Until we go around and everybody has their turn for the round. And you can choose me if I have adversaries that have still not gone. It's perfectly valid to choose me. I also, as the GM, have the means to insert myself into the into initiative to a limited extent. So you can't always just let me go last. But also keep in mind that if you go last, and this goes for if you give it to me, then the person who goes last decides who goes first in the next round, and they can choose themselves. So it becomes a question of how you want to kind of stage and do things, and then every so often I'll throw something in the mix that throws you off. So to start with, there's you're seeing 4 Triarchy members. 2 have 1 stripe on their cuffs. 1 has 2 stripes. 1 has 3 stripes. The 3 stripe and the 2 stripe, the corporal basically reacts very quickly, as well. And those 2 take shots at Leader Rook. This will be fun. So these are going to be lasers. Oh, laser pistols. First one fires. I'm gonna see defense 6 and 8.
All right. My defense is an 8, so
Just the one hits.
just one.
Which is going to do 3 damage. The other one's gonna fire. And that's going to be just 1 success on there too. That's going to do 3 damage. So pew pew. And then I'm going to say it's Corey's turn, because why not? Corey just got shot at.
Mm-hmm. So
The Rook's turn.
I can only shoot one of them, though, even with my lunar flame.
Unless you've got a Nova on deck that gives you a bunch of attacks, because that's one of the things. There are Novas that do that provide multiple attacks. You become just like a flurry of death for 1 round.
No, the only Nova I have is technically sort of combat, but not combat. It's useful for getting the drop on somebody, but after that it's not useful. So I'm pulling that reserve. I have thickened hide. So that reduces each shot by 1. So I think So I go back.
Yep.
Because it was, or no, would that count for fire damage? Because you used las.
We'll say specifically for Thickened Tide. What does Thickened Tide say? I don't remember, because there's a few different abilities that reduce damage, and they're slightly different.
So Thickened Tide is -1 damage from physical force, so probably not.
No, yeah, so these are they're lasers, so they're fire damage.
So, you know what? She's just going to channel her mirror blade and close distance. Whichever one is closer, but she's hoping that's the sergeant. Just for fun.
You can go to the sergeant as easily. There's not attacks of opportunity and that sort of thing. So like walking through other people in combat and everything, that none of that provokes attacks or has detrimental effects. But you will be putting yourself like right in the middle. Like basically, you're going to move from the zone you're in to the zone that they're in, and you're going to be adjacent to at least one of them.
Yeah.
That's the only things you really have to keep track of is like where everybody is zone wise and whether or not you're adjacent to somebody, because that becomes important for melee or abilities that require you to touch them.
Yeah. So yeah, she's got her mirror blade channeled, which is just kind of shimmers into existence as she clears the distance. She does have the melee skill, so this is a 5d10 roll. 110, 2 7s, a 6, and a 3.
The 10 is going to hit.
Okay. That does a damage of 3 on the mirror blade.
Right. So, and for explanation for people listening, every success on the dice in the game, they're referred to as hits. So every hit on your roll does a point of damage, and then you have a damage bonus from the weapon. And you're doing 3 total.
Mm-hmm.
And whose turn is it next?
It's going to go to Aristino next, but does combat also affect marking spirit?
Yes, keep track of all of that. Based on your roll, whether you mark reroll, spirit, or nova.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The only things that the type of check that you won't mark that for is what's called a reaction check, which is like you reacting to something happening to you.
Okay.
Like if there's an explosion and you want to try to get out of the way of it suddenly very quickly. So any check that's like you making a concerted effort at doing something, in this case, shooting, using a weapon, you get a mark on the tracks based on your roll. So Aristino, your turn.
All right. With what I want to do with my character, so I'm going to be probably activating my Nova.
Okay. And everybody, this is a one shot, so there's precisely 0 reason to hold on to your spirit points and your Nova and your rerolls. Just keep that in mind.
Is it an action to activate my Nova?
If a channeling or a Nova requires your action to do it, it will have an A in parentheses after the name of the ability.
Perfect.
If it doesn't, then it's just a thing you can do, or it's like just a thing that's always like a bonus all the time.
So I'll go ahead and...
Depending on how it's described.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and activate my Nova for Bolt, which is Blinding Speed. So gets me 3 additional actions I can use. Now, I know that I cannot use additional channelings. Before I kick that off, can I go ahead and summon my Scimitar?
Sure.
All right. So I summon a Scimitar, and a sword of glistening ice extends from my arm. And I will then use my Blinding Speed to appear amongst them. About how many zones are they away currently? Just one?
Just one.
Just one? All right. I will move to their zone, and I will start to attack.
Okay. Who are you attacking in particular? And I'm gonna describe this to you because you would know all of this sort of stuff if you had been playing the game for a bit. In the game, there are regulars who only have a couple of health. Those are the majority of people are, let's face it, kind of easy to kill. because they're not built for fighting. And then there are what are referred to as elites, who are more powerful. They have higher health. They have special abilities, although not as good as cosmic abilities. And then, of course, there are cosmics. And so cosmics and elites are kind of on the same level as far as overall toughness and health goes, though cosmics will have access to more capabilities.
All right. I'm going to try and go after the light characters, just the ones with less hit points. If I can take them out, we can move on and team up on the big ones.
So you've got a couple of privates there, recruits.
Yep. So I will be attacking them then with my scimitar. So let me pull that up here really quick. There we go. I got 1, 7, and a 2 on that roll.
The 7 will hit.
7 will hit. All right. So that will be my scimitar. Starts off, let me find on here. It's a 2 damage plus 2. And then I also do have focused fighting, but I'm not fighting only one, so that will not kick off in this moment. Nice. So I guess I have 2 more attacks.
So you dealt 3 damage, yes?
Yes.
Hitting at all gives you a point of damage.
All right.
And every success, every die, like if you'd gotten 3 successful dice, that would have been 3 damage plus your damage bonus. So that's 1 plus 2 is 3, and that drops that particular one.
All right. I have swing through as an affinity channeling. So because I have a sword and I wanted to. Yeah. So I strike the first.
And that's a bolt thing. Bolts are very good one-on-one, and melee is their best friend.
Yep. So I will swing through after getting the first one down and swing my scimitar into the next figure as a continuation of that action. So, and those time, that's a 9 and an 8 on that one.
Those are both hits, so that's 2 successes. Mark a Nova.
All right, let's see. Nova right there. Boom.
And that's going to be even more damage, so that's going to take them down as well.
All right.
We make a
You
good
still
team.
have 2 actions.
Yep.
I mean, he is using his most powerful ability.
Yeah.
Can't do this every fight.
And then I look at the sergeant, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and take him down, or I try to anyway.
Sure.
So 2 attacks on him, or if it comes to that's gonna be a miss. So that's a 4 and a 1.
A reroll.
Yep. Here we go again.
I'm going to complicate that because you went in there with a lot of like, hey, look at me, I'm big tough guy. Slice, down go 2 privates, and now the sergeant just kind of sidesteps you with ease, and you're not quite so impressed with yourself anymore, and you're going to suffer disadvantage when you attack.
Ooh.
Again.
All right.
You're going to lose a die.
Lose a die. Oh, well, I dropped that die. Let's see what happens. That's going to be a no, and I got 1 last action. A 3 and a 3. So no, I do not hit again. And I call out to Shirley, and I'm like, "Hey, Shirley, keep me alive!"
It is not my job to keep you alive, and I told you to not call me Shelley.
Whose turn is it? Next.
Was that a handoff to me, John?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, why not?
All right.
Keep it organic.
Okay, Cheryl's up.
I guess that's a possibility. So I see that the sergeant has pulled his weapon, right, at this point?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 remaining Triarchy members have both pulled their weapons.
Okay. So I'm more worried about the sergeant at this point. I would like to reach out with a tentacle and try and grab onto his gun.
Okay.
Can I do that and activate an ability at the same time?
Depends on the ability. Looking
Entropic
to disarm
decay.
them is going to be your action. So if the ability
Yes.
requires an action, then you cannot unless you have a way to gain an action.
It is not. It is entropic decay. So if I cause one non-living organic object that I can hold in two hands or tentacles to decay away to nothing.
Okay, so you want to try to grab, and then kill
poof it.
destroy that laser pistol.
Yep.
Okay, well, first thing first is grab. That's going to be it's an unarmed attack, essentially. Body and unarmed attack.
All right. My
Combat.
one whole die. I'm gonna spend a spirit to get a second die.
There you go.
'Cause I feel like that's important here.
So, would you like to borrow some of Lita's melee because she has not spent? Okay.
Anything cool happen if I roll 2 10s?
You roll 2 10s. That's 2 successes. So you grab it quite handily. You can. Oh boy, what can you do as a boon? Since it's just a grab, you're not dealing damage. So with 1 success, you get you grab it. With 2 success, with the second success, you can fire it at the other Triarchy member, like pull his trigger finger in the process.
Yeah, I think I will do that. I will actually fire the weapon as it starts to decay.
So you'll get 1 shot out of it. Go ahead and give me a regular ranged attack, but at disadvantage since you're not technically wielding the weapon properly yourself.
Okay. Well, that ruins my ranged combat skill. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's a 1.
That's a 1. That's a no. And then the thing starts to decay, but that was a 1, so it comes with a complication. And I'm going to say that it's not. You're rusty with your entropic decay, and it's not decaying as quickly as you would like. It's going to take another round to completely decay to nothing. He's going to have his weapon for another round. And I assume it's going to be Ryla's turn at the.
No, I'm going to hand it to him. Or did he
they
go
went.
already? They went.
They
then
started
yes,
the
it's Ryla- then it's Ryla's turn.
They started the round.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I was too amazed by the blur of Nova.
You got
Ryla.
Ren.
All right. So
That's where I love
I'm
to.
going to spend a spirit to use my rousing call. All allies within range 1 who can hear me gain advantage on all attack traits until the beginning of my next turn.
So everybody gains advantage on attack rolls. Keeping in mind, if you already have advantage from having the skill, that's now double advantage, and we'll talk about what that means. Basically, it means your 10s explode. We all know what that means, right? So she, what does? Do you want to tell us what Ryla says?
These guys are like
That's hard.
totes gross. Would you all like mess them up already?
And that somehow instills such confidence in all of you. I'm going to have Wallach go now because Wallach technically was still on a round.
So I actually have a question, Craig.
Sure.
So I spent a spirit, but that doesn't have an A on it. Rousing call. So is it still an action?
I'm sorry. Yes, correction. Yep. You still have an action. I apologize.
Okay. No, I'm just curious.
So now you still have something to do.
All right. So I'm gonna pull the laser rifle off my back and take a shot at him too.
Okay.
So it's. I'm clearly slow at this. I don't have melee skill, so it's just 1 die, right? Or no, I have ranged.
Body plus ranged.
Body plus ranged. Yeah, and I have ranged combat.
Now, do you get the benefit of your own channeling?
Oh, now. Range
Only
on
allies.
my laser rifle is 2,
Okay.
so does that mean I'm at disadvantage because I'm closer than that?
Oh, that means you would be at disadvantage if you were further away than that,
Okay.
and you'd be at long range. So as long as you're within 2, you're just a regular shot.
All right, I rolled a 5, a 1, and an 8.
The 8 will hit him.
All right,
So that's going to do your 1 plus whatever your weapon damage is.
it's a +2.
Whew. Now, at this point, a lot of people in here are screaming and running for their lives because a firefight has broken out suddenly, without warning, between 4 Triarchy soldiers, now 2 Triarchy soldiers, and a group of people who came in here supposedly just looking to buy something. And Wallach,
They shot first.
They started it.
Wallach transforms from an Orin, like a human-looking person, to a Vesh, to a big blobby pseudopod and tentacle creature, and then starts to squeeze through a crack in the wall here as they start to. They use an ability called Slither, where they can squeeze through spaces. Haley, you're familiar with that. You may not have taken it, but that was one of your choices as a Vesh. So they're getting the heck out of Dodge, but it's taking time because they have to kind of slowly work their way through. And then I'll give this to Lita.
All right. I have to look at one thing in particular. Okay. Summoning my little construct doesn't take an action, so I'm going to do that, and unless commanding takes an action, going to send it after.
If you're giving it a very simple command.
No.
Yeah, no
it's
action.
just literally like, follow that guy.
Sure.
So just following the Wallach. And then she is going to spin her blade into not the sergeant, but the other soldier that is annoying her.
Right.
Better words. So question about the double advantage thing. Does that also gain an extra die because it is an advantage? Or is it
No.
still my normal? Okay.
You gain a die for advantage. When you gain that second advantage, assuming you don't have any disadvantage to offset any of this, when you gain the second advantage, that allows you to explode your 10s. So you're still actually only one extra die, but any 10 that you roll, you will roll again.
But I like that. So this is sadly no exploding die, but that is a 9, 8, 7, a 4, and a 1 to the non-sergeant triarchy soldier.
That's 2 hits.
So that is 5 damage total because her blade does +3.
And whose turn is it next?
I'm going to pop it over to. I keep wanting to call him Johnny for reasons, but Aristino.
All right. Now, can it come back to me? Has everybody had a chance to go?
We're on the second round.
All right. Cool.
You're the second to go on the second round.
All right. So.
Yep. Wallach starting to escape was the end of the first round.
All right. So he's going through a crack. Do I see, if I walk up to it and look through the crack, do I see a room? What do I see?
You see a Vesh that's basically taking up the whole crack right now. You can't really see what's on the other side. Like they're filling it. Like they're going through it. Like they're filling the doorway, so to speak. You can't tell for sure what's on the other side of it.
I'm just like, you are in so much trouble, and I want to go back to fighting the sergeant at this point, I guess. So, all right. Making sure I'm doing this right. So I still have the 3 actions. All right. So, all right. Let's go ahead and.
Hold on
Yeah.
1 second. Let me take a look. What was the ability?
It's blinding speed. It's in the Cosmic Corsairs book, page 45, I think, or somewhere around there. Did I go too far? Yep. Using time. Oh, before
You
the
gain
end of
3
the scene.
additional actions that you can use anytime before the
All right,
end
there
of
we
the
go, and I've
scene.
used
So
those
you
3.
have used the 3 actions.
There we go. All right, so now I'll just
Yes,
swing
sir.
away at the sergeant
Holy
for one
crap,
time.
that's powerful. You have triple actions for the
That would
entire
have been
scene.
yeah.
I was like, hold on, did I phrase that really poorly?
No, that was me. All right, here we go.
You chose to front load it. And that's fine. That's a perfectly viable use of it.
So 2, 9, and a 4.
The 9 will hit.
All right.
Just for the record, you guys have, if you've been paying attention to the numbers, their defense is 8. You've hit them on 8s, 9s, and 10s.
All right. So that should be then with that scimitar, 3 points of damage.
And they're not looking very good. Like they're starting to dart. Their eyes are starting to dart around. Thinking about retreat. They're eyeing the rest of the space. And whose turn is it next?
I'll pass it off to Sure.
No, I'm going to say no. I'm going to insert, just because I wanted to show that off. The way this works for GMs, for those of you interested, you know how the players here have spirit, and then they also have rerolls, and then they have a bank of novas, number of times they can use novas. That gets to be a lot for a GM to kind of keep track of. So GMs have one pool of points called Aether points, and those are used for a bunch of different things. So I can use them for a number of different things, one of which is to insert some of my adversaries into the initiative order so that the players don't have complete control of it all the time. So I am going to have my soldiers here go. The sergeant is going to start kind of a tactical retreat where he's backing away from all of you, kind of headed toward the door that you all came in, which puts him now into the zone with Ryla.
Right?
Ryla's, I believe.
Does he abandon his pistol then?
Well, he's got it with him.
I have it. I have it in my tentacle though.
Well, you touched it to... Okay.
Do I have to remain in contact with it to decay it, or does it just keep going?
No, it just the decay will continue to go.
Okay, then never mind. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's happening, but it's just taking too long.
Okay.
He's going to get a shot off before it crumbles completely in his hands. And the other trooper now too is starting to think about getting out of there, but he hasn't actually moved yet. The let's see I think probably they're soldiers. They know what they're doing. Lita, you've been hit a few times.
Yeah, I'm still doing pretty decent.
Right, but also clearly a threat. So like they're not dumb. They're not gonna coordinate fire. So they're going to come after you, and they're both gonna. I'm gonna spend to gain extra dice as well.
Oh shit. This
Yep.
might hurt.
It's a 10, 9, and an 8. So that's going to be
That's-
5 damage from that
Yes.
one.
Ouch. And it is still fire damage, so that does not.
And that's going to be 3 damage. That was a lesser hit from the other guy. And then that's the point where the sergeant's weapon decays completely.
Which is a good thing because Lita is now looking very, very rough.
And now we can go back to Cheryl.
Okay, that's gonna change what I do at this point then.
Actually, I'm going to throw in real quick Wallach, because he's technically part of my group. Wallach is slowing his escape because he's not sure what to make of this drone thing that's coming after him. So he's like engaging with it, trying to figure out if it's deadly or is going to cause problems or anything. So it's actually, you have slowed him in attempting to get out. So Cheryl, back to you.
Okay. I'm trying to find something on. I've got this on my sheet right now. I don't know. Remember if I'm trying to find it. Is Elemental Cage a action or no?
Would have to look it up off the top
Okay,
of my head. I don't recall.
That's what I'm trying to do right now.
I feel like it's not. If it doesn't do a lot of damage, it probably isn't.
It is an action. Okay.
It is. Okay, so then it's more significant. Yeah, because typically the action economy works in such a way that, like, if you're giving people little bonuses, little impediments to movement, stuff like that, those aren't actions. But as soon as you are dealing actual real damage or doing like a significant impediment, and then it starts to become an action.
All right, then while I activate my healing aura, which is not an action, I'm going to spend 1 spirit. Myself and all allies within the same zone gain 2 health. I'm going to...
So that'll affect everybody except Ryla.
Yep. And then I'm going to... actually, I you know what? This is a one-shot. I'm going to back that up. I'm going to activate my Nova.
Here we go.
So I spend my Nova Bank, right?
Spend 1 from your Nova Bank.
Spend my Nova Bank. I activate Shape 3 Forms. Who is hurt apart from Lita? Anybody?
Not yet.
All right. Then Lita is going to heal 1d10 plus 3, and the other 2 are going to take 1d10 plus 3 damage. So I choose 3 targets within range 1, including myself, which I'm not choosing. Each either heals or harms 1d10 plus heart. So, Lita, you gain... But
Go
ahead.
Sorry, I was going to ask a question, but you answered me as I was asking the question. So go ahead.
A
I gain
total
how
of
much?
6.
Nice.
And then, do you want me to roll the damage for the 2 guys as well?
Yes, please.
All right.
Individually.
Not the captain.
Right.
4. Oh wait, hang on.
Okay.
What? It's 3 plus heart. Heart is 3. That's 6. I apologize. You get 2 more. I was doing +1 thinking it was a skill. So Lita gets 2 more. And then the captain gets D10 plus 3. 7. Very average.
That drops the captain dead on. 7 health left.
Yeah, I
Down
picture
goes the
this
captain.
green. My tentacles just kind of in every direction and impact the 3 bad guys, and then like channel the energy into Lita.
He was very, very appreciative.
And Ryla's all that's left, and I mean, you've got this one remaining trooper who is kind of headed your direction, looking to get the hell out of Dodge.
And I assume a Nova is an action.
Well, you can only do 1 Nova for sure, and it depends on the Nova.
Okay, yeah, it is an action. Okay. I wanted to make sure.
Because it can do a bunch of damage. In the
game. I should have written it down on my character sheet instead of having to scroll through the book.
That's okay. We're all learning. It's one of the reasons I keep it simple with just like if it's an A in parentheses, that, you know, if you want to copy paste it in or type it in, it's easy to keep track of. You don't have to write as an action, you know, every time. You just have have the little A.
Ryla, I believe you're the last one left.
That's the end of the round. Yep.
All right, that leaves just me. So because it's the beginning of my next turn, the advantage I had given everyone before ends now. But as he's running toward me, I'm going to take one hand off my laser rifle, holding it out toward him, and I'm going to use Force Blast. It's one of my channelings. You shoot a blast of concussive force that can knock a target creature or object down or over, or push them within range 1. If you try to push the creature, you have to make a body check. I'm going to attempt to knock him down as he's running toward me, using Force Blast.
Let me double check what's the ability called again?
Force Blast. It's not one of my species specific channelings, it's just a regular channeling. It is under the element channelings section.
It's under the elements? I'm seeing it for Enigma. Did I change the name of something? It's possible, because I'm looking at a more recent version of the game book. It's possible that I changed the name and I'm just forgetting. Element channelings.
Yeah, I do. I see it under
Oh,
Enigma
I see what I
also.
did. Okay, that's something I got to fix. I've got 2 force blasts. One is 2 words and one is 1 word.
Ah,
I thought
Ah.
I had checked for all that kind of stuff, but that one slipped past me. So that's fine. You can use that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a note to myself here. Hold on. Go ahead and let's see for that. Shoot a blast of concussive force. It's not an action. Try to push. It's a body check. So knocking him down is just like boom. You just knock him down.
it's like he starts running at me. This blast of force hits him and just smacks him straight back on his back.
So you knock him down. Basically, he surrenders. Like he's clearly he realizes he's not getting anywhere. So he is surrendering.
Awesome. I'm going to point my rifle at him, but I'm not going to shoot him. But I am going to giggle.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have to fix that. Just give it a different name.
So, as combat
Weird.
kind of winds down.
I was being
we're
very
at-
careful about what I was naming things too. I'm kind of kicking myself over that one. It happens. I'm a one-man show.
Okay. But you're doing pretty good. This is fun. If combat has wound down and we're no longer
Yes.
in action order, Lita's just gonna toss over a pair of cuffs to Ryla. And then if the sergeant is still breathing and alive, even if he's at 0 HP, she's going to truss him up with the steel cord that she has on herself.
He's super dead.
He's super dead.
Yeah, they're all super dead. And you can grab Wallach at this point too, because he got distracted dealing with this drone thing that was following him around, and never really got a chance to escape. So you can grab him.
And in that case, yeah, she'll just shrug off the sergeant and grab Wallach, going, "Thank you for your cooperation." Like, blank face. Don't try and make kind of attitude. She's very bloody at the moment. Oh, end of combat, she also gains another +2 health because quick recovery. So
Are you hurt at all at this point?
I am still hurt, but I am no longer at 2 HP. I'm now at 12. Your healing was amazingly timed.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Well, this is
I'll wander over and grumble about constantly having to patch you up, but at least you're not bleeding on my medbay floors this time. Hold still. I'm gonna do a greater form bind on you to try and top you up. So I'll spend another spirit. Ooh, 10. Beautiful. Well, wait, yeah. So 10 plus 2, which is 12, plus heart. Yeah, you're way topped up. 15.
I'm overhealed. My max is 16.
I would have healed you from 1 with that, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to speed up our itinerary, and I'm reaching down and this for like the captain, the sergeant, looking for any like data sticks on them or any like anything we can take.
Yeah, you find like a tablet with that would be something you would have to spend time trying to break into because it's triarchy. It's almost certainly encrypted and password protected and all that sort of thing. He had a laser, his laser pistol, which is gone in pieces now. He had a laser rifle over his back, which he never got a chance to going after because, well, he got murdered. And he's got a few credits, in cash, which isn't anything significant. And he has a photograph of a young man. In a pocket.
Seemingly of the same species.
Yes.
I leave the money on him. And I nod and I'm just like, We live and die by our choices, friend. And I kind of nod to the rest of the group. I will be activating again the change my skin, and this time I am all black.
Once Aristino turns his attention away, I take the money.
Okay.
Did Aristino take the photograph?
No.
For those listening here, the game I mentioned that they've got a few credits, like these are Triarchy actual coinage credits. Game doesn't track money in that way. You instead have a coin score and a resource score, and coin is what you make checks to determine if you have enough money on hand to buy personal stuff, and then resource does the same kind of basic thing, but it's a group number. As a group you have a resource score, and that's how you can make purchases or arrange to get like replacement parts for your starship, or to like provide basic survival supplies to a group of 50 survivors, or 50 refugees somewhere for a month. It's big numbers. So that's one of those things that you as a group can, if you were playing a campaign, you could be like, helping communities and bringing them supplies and all of those types of things. When I talked about earlier, you have the threat rating, which determines whether the Triarchy starts to actively hunt you. You also have, for contacts, you have trust ratings that get built up as you build trust with your contacts. And for communities, you have hope ratings that get built up as you go. And when you get to when a community reaches a high enough hope rating by you doing things that help them and give them hope, then they join the resistance. So you can actually game building the resistance over the course of a campaign. So you've got one trooper and Wallach, and a bunch of other people that are still like running out of the room. Like the remaining people that were here with you have taken off. Some are cowering behind their wares, and like now they're starting to pack everything up, and they're like making it's very obvious they're going out of their way to not look at you. Like I don't see you, I won't remember what you look like, I'm just going to get my things and I'm going to go.
All right. Yeah. Lita's going to. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, obviously, Lita, I think we need to get out of here.
Yeah. I've attracted some attention, it seems. With Wallach in one arm, I don't know if he's squirming or not.
Wallach is squirming and saying, "Let me go, let me go, let me go. I don't have any business with you. I don't know what you were here for, what that was all about. Let me go."
No. I will find a vase for you if I need to. But no. You have answers, we have questions. And like with him in one arm, just kind of holding a squirmy, wriggling mass, she's going to bend down and take the photo from the sergeant's body. Again, completely expressionless. Riley, do you have the... is it lieutenant that's the lower rank than sergeant? I can't remember. Do you have
corporal.
that one? Do you have the corporal in hand?
Yeah, so Ryla is still standing over this guy with her laser rifle pointed at him, with him laying there now cuffed. So, like, what do you want me to do with him?
We're taking him with us, too. Can't have him running off.
All right.
So.
Just gonna look at this guy and be like, guess you get to come play with us for a while.
It occurs to you that there are Triarchy soldiers here, other than these, you would assume. Mm-hmm. And then if you walk around a corner somewhere, dragging a soldier with you, that's going to look a certain way.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing that out there as a freebie about what you want to do.
Ooh, or we could just like cuff him to a pole here so he can't get away for a bit.
Or just kill him.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, like, but he's not playing a fight right now. It wouldn't be any fun.
I would like to point out that our friend here has already been seen. All we need now is for somebody to come back and report her. Oh, look, here's Lita Rook on the ship on the station. Everybody, come kill her and all her friends.
We're speeding
Now
up.
now he's heard your name.
We're speeding up our itinerary, and them knowing that we are here
Dragark.
is a given whether or not he lives or dies. So we're going to speed this up. We're going to leave him behind in such a method that he cannot alert them too quickly to any other details. And he's not going to make any trouble, is he? And I look at him when I say that.
I mean, if he wants to make trouble, I could always get my thermal cutter out and we could make it interesting.
Jesus. He shakes his head. No trouble.
Craig, what race is this? Is the trooper?
Oh, he's Gartaki.
Okay. I'd like to use kind of my knowledge of Gartaki biology and biochemistry. Do I have anything on me that would basically wipe the last hour of his memory? Whether it causes brain damage or not, I don't really care.
Potentially, if you have like drugs, like the right kind of drugs.
I look around to the room we're in. Do I see anybody with drugs?
Yeah.
I go over to him and I go over to whoever's booth that is and start rummaging, and I pay with the coin that I just took off the dead body. Quickly make up a serum, walk over, just jab him in the ass with it with a tentacle. Good night. They don't like me killing you.
You hit him with a drug that's gonna sedate him and mess with his
short-term memory. Yeah.
His recollection of everything here. He might remember bits and pieces, like just with your medical expertise. Like, this is not a foolproof plan, but it could be helpful. Could do the job.
Are we all happy now? I didn't murder him.
That's my...
The people that are packing up their wares are packing up their wares faster.
I would like to point out that they were attempting to murder us.
Now he starts explaining
it's only
himself.
Fair.
As he's like going under sedation, is he explaining himself, or is this Wallach explaining himself?
No, Wallach's Haley character Cheryl is like explaining like this.
Oh yeah.
The people are packing up their stuff faster, and Cheryl's like, hey.
No, I'm not explaining it to them. I'm explaining it to my group.
I understand that, but you're in a big empty room where like voices carry.
That's fine.
It's all good.
Hush, hush.
Look. It's all good. Let's get the information we can from Wallach.
What do you need? What can I get? What'll get me out of here? Wallach is like, he's bargaining.
We're looking for a specific device.
All right. Need more than that.
I'm going to move really close so I can talk to him very quietly. So we keep hearing rumors about this device that makes communications faster and easier. Do you know anything about it?
Sure.
Oh, come on now. It's the way that was said. I think my character's going to be like, are you just saving your skin? So how would I make a test on that, trying to understand his behavior?
Mind insight.
Mind insight.
Trying to figure out if like, is he making up crap to just kind of keep you happy and maybe try to swing a bargain here, or does he, when he said sure, like does he mean it?
Yep. I only have one mind, and I just rolled a 10.
So mark a spirit. Yeah. Seems like that was legitimate. Yeah, he knows.
Oh.
From the way he's been speaking to you so far, you get the impression that his speaking style, his interaction style is short and terse and off-putting, and it has like it's one of those. It's like if he's trying to con people, unless he turns on the charm in some way, like this is not the voice you want to use to be conning people, because it puts people on edge immediately. Like somebody just goes like, yeah, sure, like yeah, sure, I can help you with that.
Well, it looks like he's telling the truth for the moment. Let's go that way. Away
You're looking
from
for the tack link.
away from the carnage.
So,
You're looking
Greg,
for
as a
you're looking for the
Adam-
you're looking for the
Sorry?
tack link.
What was that, Ren?
I started to ask a question and then forgot what I was asking. Sorry.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
okay.
Exactly.
I've been there.
That's fair.
So as we're trying to make our way back through here, since I have self-navigator, would that allow us to move a little more easily or take less time?
Yeah. You'd be able to. I mean, you've been here for a little while. You had to figure out where you were going, so you were studying maps and direction, signs and where things are pointing. And as a self-navigator, as somebody who kind of easily keeps track of where they are, that it's easy to recall all that information very quickly. So you can think of like, oh, if we want to go here, this is exactly where we go. If we want to go here, this is exactly where we go. This is how long it would take. This is what we saw on our way last time. Like, you keep track of all of that sort of stuff, just kind of naturally.
Cool.
So yes, that is what we are looking for.
What do you have to trade?
What are
He's
you?
still under Alita's arm.
Well,
I'm sure we can cut a deal.
I'm certain we could as well. But at the same time, right this moment, this is your bargaining chip, right? Yes?
Yes.
The bargaining chip that keeps you alive and well cared for, yes?
Yes, and if I give it up, you have no reason to not kill me. So I want something in return if I'm going to risk that.
You want passage or something? What do you want? You have something in mind? Don't waste our time.
Have a ship?
No, we swam here. Of course we have a ship. It's a rather nice ship. It's very well cared for.
You can clearly take care of yourselves. Is the ship armed?
Yeah.
Why do you
Really?
ask?
Do you want to go with us?
Well- What?
Are you wanting
I'm
to
sorry.
go with us?
I wouldn't mind leaving here. You offered passage.
I think we can come to an understanding.
Passage for me and one friend.
How much space will this friend take up?
Not much.
Ah,
What is the nature of this friend?
They're crivid.
Bound.
They are
Sounds-
unburdened.
fine.
I think we can definitely work that out.
I mean, that
Bound
works
or
for me.
unburdened. Yeah.
That works for me. Oh, and we can talk about all kinds of tech stuff. I talked to them about it, but their eyes glaze over.
Especially mine. So. Take you with us. I have no problems with that. As long as we're not going to find a triarchy ship at our back.
can't control that.
But you can control your tech and whatever signals they're sending out.
It's not my tech. And I'm trusting you with that.
No, that's exactly what I was about to ask. Well, look. I'm okay with it not being your tech. I'm okay with you coming with us. I'm okay with your friend coming with us, as long as we all can find some sort of agreement along the way. What do we need to do first? And who currently holds this device?
You'll have to speak to my friend.
Lovely.
So it's his tech.
It's their tech.
Their tech.
Well, the quicker we get moving, the better, considering that these our former friends are going to show up missing at some point. They're going to probably miss some check or something. People are going to look for them, so let's move on.
Wallach's comment that it's their tech falls in line with describing a cribbid. Cribbid are, by their nature, not gendered. Or at least not gendered in a way that non-cribbid understand.
Yeah. So. Alright. In that case. Aristino, I'm going to leave him with you. I think it would be best if I stick to the shadows on my own for right now at a distance.
That wouldn't be the worst. Change the number up of who's walking together, and they won't be looking for as much for groups of 3.
And she's going to gently place Wallach down, unharmed. And then she's going to use her Nova to shift into her shadow form. Shadow form gives her, let me just spin that up, I think. Shadow allows her to kind of be invisible in the shadows. I can turn sideways to disappear, whatever that mechanically means. I can climb vertical surfaces without making it a trait check. I cannot use gear or weapons, but I don't technically need to because I'm also immune to damage while I'm in the shadow form. So, like, she's just, for the purposes of the scene, she's going to be following from the shadows at a distance, probably up on the ceiling somewhere if there are shadows in the ceiling, just a little easier. But if there are like pools of shadow that she can just kind of blob into on their way to the ship or their next destination.
You could move between shadows. You know, and this space station is like, it's not a resort. It's not like, you know, oh, it's so wonderfully lit and it's like really nice and like it's like there's stretches of corridor that are poorly lit and so forth. You could so you could kind of keep 2 shadows as much as possible. You could also disappear into a person's shadow if you make yourself very small and just kind of stay within the body of their shadow, you know, as their shadow changes and moves, just kind of as long as you don't do something that makes the shadow look really weird. Like, you know, it's something that somebody would notice.
She makes herself as small as she possibly can to stay in these shadows, including the shadows of her friends. So
Wallach changes back to look like an Orin. And walks with you, but walks with a limp. And you recognize as he's walking that one of his legs is not like comically shorter, but noticeably shorter than another, as if it hadn't grown properly. But this girl you recognize. I mean, this is a common thing among Vesh who take on a humanoid form, that they can never quite get everything right. There's always something that's a little off. They can look like an Orin or a Gartaki or whoever, but there's just something that, like, if you look for it, you'll notice. and he goes with you, guiding you to where the Cribbed are, where the unburdened colony, or unburdened group. I don't want to use the word colony because they are colony creatures. That's what they call themselves, consider themselves. But where the unburdened are. And he introduces you. And this whole process of getting there, and assuming it doesn't turn into something else, this is all one scene. Sorry for the like walking, going, getting the Cribbed, getting elsewhere in the station. So you're still shadow form at this point, and are the group of you are you splitting up to do things, or are you all going? Sorry, are you all going to Cribbed?
I think we're
A bit.
same here.
Yeah. Lita's sticking close just to protect him. So.
Right. And Wallach takes you to these Cribbed. You enter a series of series of rooms that have been decorated with a lot of flora, like a lot of very strange flora growing out of bowls of water. It's very humid in here, which is not surprising given that Cribbed Nar, the Cribbed homeworld, is a largely a swamp kind of planet. It's got a large portions of it are covered in swamplands, and it's a very humid place. But you see no actual Cribbed, like no walking around colony groups. But as you walk through here, you see that there are individual Cribbed in the corners, in the shadows, some of them in groups of 2 and 3. Some of them are in the bowls, in the pools of water, relaxing. None of them are speaking, but they're all there. As you enter, a couple of them kind of as one look, like they kind of pivot up their little, they do have a front end and a back end, they have like, sensory organs and so forth on the end. And so they all kind of look up at the same, kind of as one, a number of them do. And that the Cribbed are able to telepathically communicate with one another within, a certain distance. So they're probably all talking to you, or talking about you. And they all notice you. Wallach says, these people can get you out of here. Tell them. And he looks to you and says, tell them.
It's true, we do have a ship. I'm looking around at this group assembled. And we are willing to arrange passage for you and your community. But I will not withhold from you that we are looking for something.
Cribbed start to crawl out of corners in the pools, and gather together in front of the group of you. They start to climb on top of one another and start to grip and hold and stick to each other, forming a sort of humanoid shape, but not a very good one. It's short, it's squat. One leg is too big and bulbous. The other leg has only a few Cribbed making up. They're clearly not adept at what they're doing. And one of them says, One of them, up in the head area of this humanoid form that is formed out of these slug creatures, these individual crivid. One of them speaks. I'm gonna say it's clearly because so that you can understand it. But what they're saying is very garbled. They're just not used to speaking like this. Will you respect our way?
Your way being unbound
Unburdened.
or unburdened. Yes, thank you.
It nods. Its semblance of a humanoid head.
Honestly, you can do whatever you want. You're the individual three thinking beings. It's not our position to tell you to do anything.
I can say I'm a very typical Skrull, and I like my individuality, and I respect what you're doing.
Will we expect trouble?
Maybe.
That's
Could
You,
be.
unfortunate.
as a group of fourth level characters, you've pissed off the Triarchy a few times.
I mean, we can't like guarantee there's never going to be any trouble, but we'll do what we can to keep you safe.
And we can, hopefully, if it is your wish, get your colony someplace where... sorry, apologies for that term. Your community. Someplace safer. Someplace where we won't be bringing you into danger, because I can assure you that while it is not our intent to put anyone in danger, it does seem to find us.
You fight the Triarchy.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, those guys suck.
They're a pain in the ass, more or less. So
We don't
We are
like
willing to trust. We are willing to trust you. We should go.
We should. And Aristino just kind of turns around and starts walking a little ways. Stops, pauses.
Oh,
Ryla,
this way.
which way?
Here,
Thank
just
you.
follow me.
They ask that you transport some of what you can carry of their basins and some of this flora with them. Familiar surroundings.
also,
You get the distinct impression that like what they're taking with them is all they have to remind them of home, that they can't go back to their home. They will likely never know living in that environment that they grew up in, that they were born in. It's very, very likely they'll never see that again.
Yeah, so we can gather those stuff up and take everything we can.
I mean, Lita's very willing to be the, as long as, like, if it will stay in shadow form in her rucksack, for sure. If not, she'll carry what she can and leave the rest to the others.
You can always find more as well, but taking some amount of it with them will be. They appreciate that. They go with you to the ship, remaining in this form, walking slowly, having difficulty doing it. Being in this colony form is clearly very unnatural to them. It's not something they're used to doing. If they ever did do it in the past, it's been a long time.
Question for you. Since they are formed up into a pseudo colony, there are some shadows internally. If I can merge into their shadows internally, can I give them some supportive structure with my shadow form?
Not so much that you don't really have a body to affect
Yeah.
physicality, but they'll get there. It's just I bring it up primarily to reinforce the weight of what you're doing and the weight of what they're doing. You get to the ship. Once you are on board the ship, they immediately decouple and fall back into their individual forms. You are able to provide them with quarters with some place to call their own. The basins, fill them with water. Allow the install the flora into the water so that the flora will continue these strange vines and things. When you put them in the water, they move and they start to creep and find things to hang on and hold on, and they kind of take their shape within the room that they're in. And you learn from them, just before they do all of this, that one of them has developed this, has figured out this technology that will allow communication. They believe, they're fairly certain that it is reliable, that this technology can be developed, and that in addition to them not wanting to live in a colony, they don't want to fully and perfectly bond with each other, because that puts that technology into the minds of all of them, and that's risky. So at this point, there's only one of them that actually knows the secret of how to create this technology. And that is how we are going to sort of wrap things up, with you getting the technology on its way to a new home. You can I'd like each of you to give me a little epilogue of kind of what happens with your character as you head off, knowing that you are now carrying with you kind of a heavy burden of your own. This is, you're in a position to protect someone, this one Cribbid who could change the shape and scope of the war with the Triarchy, at least until such time as the technology is fully developed. So we can pass it around to everybody whenever you feel inclined, when you've got something to add.
If everybody else is ready, I can go ahead and start.
Mm-hmm.
So with Aristino, I imagine we're back on the ship. We're taking off from this station, and I can see him just going up to the foredeck with his tiny saucer and cup of cappuccino or whatever the drink is, and maybe
Space coffee.
Yeah, space coffee. Why not? Everything's better with space in front of it. I can imagine maybe one of the younger members of this colony coming up. I see. In my mind, I vision it sitting up on his shoulder, and as he's drinking the coffee, he just starts, talking about ships and the life of, interstellar travel, the things that he's seen, and just is sharing this moment with this individual that he's only just recently met. But definitely falls in line with the kind of person that Aristino is. He's just never not met a familiar face and is willing to accept things. So. Yeah. And I'll pass it off to someone else.
I think as we leave, and we're underway. We've been underway a day or two. I think Cheryl is going to seek out a member of this Cribbid community. and just kind of have a long conversation with them about why, trying to understand their reticence to go against the flow, to be unbound. And I think they have a good conversation that it is informative, and Cheryl learns a lot, but is immediately ended when the Vesh rather insensitively asks if she could dissect them when they die, for science, of course. But they all stop talking to her after that.
You come to learn that a few of their number are able to communicate with you telepathically when very nearby, but only to a very, very limited. It takes a long time to have a conversation.
Mhm.
But they can communicate. And they are not revealing to you which one of their number knows the secret of this technology.
Oh, I didn't bother
Yeah.
asking that part. I forgot.
Oh, that's okay. They don't volunteer it. Not yet. If this were a campaign, you would have to earn that trust.
I think for Lita, like once they're all settled on the ship, their living quarters are established, she's going to offer to figure out a way to train those who might be interested in fighting in ways that they can individually make some of those skills work for them. Because if I remember correctly, Krivet are they're about that big, if I remember correctly, like 1 or 2 feet as individuals.
Yeah, depending on how old they are, yeah, a couple feet at most.
Mhm.
Individuals, yeah. A
Essentially.
single colony cribbed is going to have 20, 25 individual cribbed making up their body. So you've got 24 cribbed with you.
Yeah, she's going to offer. She's not going to force them to do whatever they don't want. She doesn't even necessarily need them to communicate with her if that's not something that's comfortable for them. They communicate like she would communicate with Cheryl or Aristino, the others. She'd figure out an alternate way of communication if needed. But
You
for those that
start to
do,
form a bit of a bond, a bit of a repartee with a couple of them who are able to communicate with you more.
she'll, yeah, giving them the means to protect themselves is the best thing that she can think of to offer them, other than commiseration. She wasn't raised on Gartaki; she was raised off-world, so to her, having a homeworld is kind of a foreign experience. Like, she knows Gartaki exists; she's been there, but her formative years were spent off-world. She never quite got that experience or anything. So it makes her kind of careful. And those few that, she might be forming a bond with, maybe they're the few that actually get to see beyond her just, stone-faced expression every now and then. So they're doing a very brave thing, and she admires them for that.
I could actually see Ryla spending a good bit of time trying to work with Wallach to make things that the Krivid need, something to improve the humidity in their bunk area, to make the conditions more comfortable for them, learning about what's needed, and just talking general tech with them too, seeing if there's anything they can learn from each other.
Right. And the group of you flies off to hopefully someday change the war with the Triarchy. That has been Cosmic Corsairs, everybody. Your chance to dip a toe in here. At least, some of you were involved with playtesting, but I believe at least one or two of you, this is first time?
I think,
Or did you all play test? I don't
were y'all
remember
all in the
everybody's names from
playtest?
the playtest.
Yeah, I think everybody here was in on the playtest.
Oh, okay. So this is
Yeah.
a
We're-
chance to see the final version anyway. As
Yeah,
you
we're
saw
missing 2
the version
players for
where
it.
all sorts of things had to be fixed. But anyway, thank you very much. We can go around the horn and you can tell everybody listening here, watching, what's up with you if we want to. And I'm just going to say, hey, like if it's sometime between October 7th and November 6th, go check out the Kickstarter.
We just want to go down the line, Corey.
All right. I'm Corey. You can find me here on Twitch at Little Loudmouse. I don't stream that often. It's more or less wherever I go. You can also find me at Little Loudmouse at .itch, where I have a much rougher game than Cosmic Corsair in the works. It's coming along though.
Awesome. Kaylee.
Well, you can't really find me anywhere anymore. I don't do a lot on the socials, but where you can find me, and I'm pretty sure I'll see at least 1 or 2 of you, is at a Catacon in Dayton, Ohio, the weekend of November 7th. I get to play games this year. I'm not vending, so I'm not being a merchant. I get to actually play games and hang out with people for a change.
Nice. Celebrate a successful Kickstarter. I can't speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. I'll be there for without doing anything this year. But Ren, how about for you?
Yep, my name is Ren. I was the voice of Ryla tonight, and I'm not really on social media at the moment, but I will see y'all at a Catacon.
Awesome, awesome. And hi, everyone. I'm John, and I'm part of the leadership here at Rook and Rasp. So pretty much anywhere you see Rook and Rasp, you can see me, and you can also look up Passion Nerdly. That's where I do a lot of my imprint stuff, where I help with games. But beyond that, I will say, hey, go check out our TikTok and our YouTube. We have a series where we talk about just games in general. It's a series of shorts. You can learn about a whole system and a whole world in probably 1 minute to 2 minutes. So go check that out. And of course, Craig, thank you so much for coming, bringing us this game. I'm really excited for this property. I love it. Hits all the right notes for me. That's the best way I can put it. So yeah, everybody, let's get out there. And as we have always said with this show, hey, seriously, let's play. Night, everyone.